Hey, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today on this important seminar and discussion. Thank you for joining my YouTube live session on the topic preparing for marriage, premarital counseling, and discussion. I don't want to take much of your time. We would be looking into the importance of premarital counseling, understanding premarital counseling. We would also be looking at the benefits. We'll be saying the key topics for premarital discussions. We'll be looking at premarital counseling methods, how to choose the right counselor, and so on and so forth. So let's dive right into the topic. Now, looking at marriage. Marriage is a lifelong decision. Marriage is a covenant. Marriage is a significant life event that brings joy and changes to one's life. I mean, marriage is one that you would enter and there would be lots of compromise. There would be lot of life changes in marriage. So it's important that you prepare for this crucial institution. Marriage is an institution ordained by God. Marriage is a covenant. So it is crucial to prepare thoroughly, and premarital counseling and discussions are invaluable in this journey. It's important you prepare well for marriage. It's important you prepare before going into marriage. Now, what is premarital counseling? Premarital counseling is a proactive process. I said it is a proactive process because looking at the definition of what proactivity means, it is causing something to happen rather than responding to it after it has happened. So, premarital counseling, looking at that word pre, before marriage, these are the preparations you make. These are the things you put in place before going into marriage, before going into marriage itself. Those preparations you put in place, those things that you do to prepare for marriage, are the premarital preparations. Now, talking about premarital counseling, it is a proactive process that allows couple to work on their relationship before marriage. It is like a checkup for your marriage. Just like when you visit the hospital, when you visit the clinic or any healthcare center, the first thing they do is that they will take your history, they will do physical examinations, they will run tests on you to know what is wrong with you and how to treat you, isn't it? So, the same way, premarital counseling would help to run some checks on you, take some assessments on you and your spouse, know how to reconcile both of you together. You are preparing for marriage. So, premarital counseling will help to see and also see those things that might cause issue inside of marriage. Premarital counseling will help expose your weaknesses. It would help you then to be able to work on those weaknesses so that it would become your strength. It would reduce the conflict inside of marriage. So this counseling can be done with a licensed therapist. It can be done with a religious leader. Note, not all religious leaders are uh, can give marriage counseling, not all religious leaders. So be sure that it is a religious leader that has the experience and probably has gone through one course or the other regarding marital counseling. So, premarital counseling can be done with a licensed therapist, a religious leader, or through self-help resources like reading books and online resources. It is an investment in your relationship's long-term success, and it is not an indication that there is something wrong. I need to stress this point because in this part of the world where we find ourselves, when we see somebody going through premarital counseling, or we see married couples visiting the counselor, visiting the therapist, we think to say, oh, they're having issues in their marriage. Oh, why are they visiting the premarital counselor? Is it that there is an issue they could not reconcile? Did they need to visit, a marriage counselor? It's important to note that visiting a marriage counselor or visiting a therapist does not mean there is something wrong with our relationship. It is not an indication that there is something wrong. So we should make it like it's a normal thing. Visit the therapist, visit the counselor, receive advice. They will help you to assess your relationship. Now, going into the benefits of premarital counseling. What are the benefits of premarital counseling? Research shows that couples who engage in premarital counseling are 30% less likely to divorce. Preparation is very important in whatever you are doing. Whatever you are doing, it's very important that you prepare before going into it, before venturing into whatever. It can be business, marriage, career, whatever. Preparation is very important. It provides a safe and structured environment to discuss issues that may not have been addressed yet. So during premarital counseling, in as much as they are taking the assessments and going through the checks, they will be able to see those issues that needs to be discussed and has not been addressed. They were able to bring it out and then those issues will be addressed. It's a space to explore your compatibility, your values, and your goals as a couple. So, premarital counseling is designed to equip you and your partner with tools to navigate the marriage life together. And there are some of the benefits that this therapy can offer, like you would learn constructive communication. You can tell that the core aspect of premarital counseling is communication. There is no relationship without communication. So communication is very important. In premarital counseling, you would learn constructive communication. You would learn to convey your positions clearly without attacking the other person, without harming the other person. For example, you know, the way we communicate would it can there is it has a way of helping the marriage or breaking the marriage, like like the wife coming up and saying, see how you put your shoes in the sitting room, is that how your daddy used to behave? You can tell that that word can spark the man and be like, oh, now you're referring to my daddy, you're referring to my parents, how dare you talk to my parents? Or the wife say, I can tell you you took this, or the husband say, I can tell you you took this trait from your mother, that is how your family members behave. you know Communication is very important. There's a way you communicate things that it wouldn't harm and it wouldn't attack your partner. So premarital counseling will help you to learn constructive communication. It will also help you to focus on the positive aspects of your spouse. There's no one that doesn't have weakness. There's no man, there's no woman that doesn't have flaws. But this counseling will help you to value your spouse's strengths and to focus more on those positive aspects of that individual. So premarital counseling will help you and your partner to focus on the positive aspect of your relationship rather than the negative aspect. It would also help you to eliminate dysfunctional behavior. It would help you to identify those unhealthy behaviors and patterns in your relationship, and it would help you to correct them. It would help you to build decision-making processes. It would help you and your partner develop healthy, equitable decision-making processes. You can tell that it is very important to go through premarital counseling. It would also help you to alleviate the fears that are related to marriage. People will say different things. Marriage is difficult. Hey, marriage is not, yes, marriage is not bed of rose. There would be issues, there would be, that is right. But there's a way the world will paint marriage and make you see marriage like, oh, marriage is something that you cannot do successfully. Premarital counseling will help alleviate those fears that are related to marriage. So if you and your partner are anxious about what marriage life will entail, premarital counseling can help you discuss those important issues and give you some clarity. Premarital counseling is very important in the success of marriages. Now, what are those key topics to be discussed in premarital counseling. The issue of communication, I talked about it earlier. Effective communication involves not just speaking, but also active listening, understanding, empathizing with your partner's perspective. It shouldn't always go your way. Premarital counseling will help you to know that you should be able to not just venting your mind, but also listening, understanding where the other person is coming from. Both of you might be right, the other person might be wrong, but the way you listen and communicate is very important. In premarital counseling, all of this will be dealt with. Also, you would discuss your values and your goals. Your values are your core beliefs and principles, and these are the things that shapes your priorities and shapes your decisions. In premarital counseling, you'll be able to discuss and share your values as they impact your relationship. You will talk about your individual shared goals. You talk about what you want to be, where you want to live, your career aspirations, the number of children, whether you even want children in the first place, and so many things to be discussed in premarital counseling. Also, in premarital counseling, you talk about finance. Financial decisions should include disclosing your incomes, disclosing your debts, disclosing your spending habits. That is where you would come and say, okay, how do we want to run our finance in marriage? Do we want to run joint accounts, or will we have our personal accounts and we would drop a certain percentage of our income into the joint account, or it is strictly individual accounts and we would share the bills 50-50, 70-30. It is in this premarital counseling that you would discuss the issues that is relating to finance. I tell you the truth, the issue of money, money is a mammon, and the scripture even says that the love of money is not bad on its own, but the love of money is the root of all evil. Money is causing issues in marriages. I tell you the truth, money is causing issues in marriages. In premarital counseling, you'll be able to discuss how to deal with financing the home, financing the marriage. Also, in premarital counseling, you talk about conflict resolution. Conflict is inevitable. It's inevitable in every relationship. Talk about marriage relationship, talk about, relationship in your workplace, or friendship relationship, any kind of relationship, there will be conflict. It is inevitable. So it is important that you know how to resolve conflict in your relationship. How you handle it is what matters, because it would come, but how you handle it matters. So it's important that you learn constructive ways to dissolve disagreements without harming your relationship. Imagine an issue happen or something happen and your spouse is like, are you okay, are you all right? And the next thing is, are you blind, can't you see that I'm not okay? Do you have to ask me that question? And before you know, it's conflict, and because the other person is hot tempered, why will you talk to me like that? I'm only trying to care, so why will you tell me that am I blind, this and that? Before you know it, it rises, it turns into a deep-seated anger. It's the thing, like you are pouring fire, like you are pouring kerosene in the fire. The thing becomes hot. So it's important that you learn how to resolve conflicts. Conflict resolution is like a core study in premarital counseling. Another thing is intimacy and emotional connection, because definitely, what is marriage for? One of the reasons why we get married, right, is for partnership, is for intimacy. So you discuss physical and emotional intimacy, including your sexual expectations, your preferences, your boundaries, those things you like. How do you like it? How often? You talk about all of this intimacy, how you want things done. I love people that you can. I love my husband to be caring, to help me in all of these things. When I am busy, when I am busy in the kitchen, I want him to also assist me. All these intimate discussions are those things that you talk about. You also explore each other's love languages, which helps you understand how to make each other feel loved and appreciated. Also, you talk about your family, your children, you talk about family planning, you talk about, when, how, do we even want to have children in the first place? When do we have the children? You address the parenting styles. I have a video on parenting styles on this same channel. Go through it so that you'll be able to know those parenting styles that we have. We have the authoritarian, we have the authoritative, and so on, so that you would know which parenting style do we want to employ. You'll be able to address the parenting style, disciplinary methods, and how to balance family and life responsibilities. I also have another video on balancing, marriage, career, ministry, and every other things like that. So couples sometimes realize after getting married that they are not on the same page about whether or not to have children. These are those things that should have been discussed, that premarital counseling would have helped you to trash out. So deciding in advance whether or not you want to have kids and how you want to raise them is very important. Also, the roles in marriage. You'll be able to discuss during premarital discussions the roles in marriage, what you expect, the roles you want your partner to play in the marriage. It would help to prevent conflict later on. All right, now, what are the premarital counseling methods? I talk about self-help. You can read books on your own. You can go through online courses. They will offer practical advice, practical exercises that you and your spouse will do together, so that you will complete it at your own pace, and it would help you to be able to know how to journey in marriage. Also, you can go through relationship workshops conducted by experts in the field of relationship. It can also be professional counseling that you have to register one-on-one, or like a workshop in groups like that. Also, how do you choose the right counselor? How do you choose the right counselor? I said it earlier that a licensed therapist, a religious leader. I strongly recommend that the religious leader should be a faith-based premarital counselor. It should be somebody that has the experience, that has gone through, if not to the point of getting the license, but at least have gone through courses so that it can advise you, maritally. Not all spiritual or religious leader are good marriage counselors. So it's important that you note that. So be sure that the right counselor, the counselor you are choosing, is licensed and experienced, and also check the compatibility, because you have to be comfortable with your counselor, and you have to know that, okay, you trust your counselor to provide a safe space for open communication. So be sure that it is a counselor that you are compatible with, that you can open up to, that you are open to ask questions, to tell the person issues, so that person will be able to help you out. Also, in choosing the right counselor, be sure that such counselor is clear about the goals for counseling, is able to address specific issues, is able to address issues of better communication, and help you to strengthen your bonds. All right. So even the scripture says, because talking about premarital counseling, even the scripture says that where there is no counsel, the people fall short. Where there is no counsel, the people fall short. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So counseling is very important. And if you enter a relationship for the wrong reason, you have most likely entered with the wrong person. Yes, if you enter a relationship for the wrong reason, you have most likely entered with the wrong person. That's why it's important to know, why am I going into this relationship? Am I entering this relationship because my friends are getting married? Am I going into the relationship because my parents are pressurizing me to get married? Am I going there because, oh, my ovaries, I just want to have children? Am I going into relationship because I'm not happy, I don't like myself? Maybe when I get married, my husband will make me happy. Why are you going into marriage? All these that I mentioned are wrong reasons why people go into marriage. So it's important you have a strong reason a genuine reason why you are going into marriage, because if you enter marriage relationship for the wrong reason, you have most likely entered with the wrong person. And looking at it, why preparation for marriage is very important. Marriages don't fail in marriage. That is the truth. Marriage, all these marriages that you see failing, they did not necessarily fail in marriage. They are failed before that marriage because they failed to prepare. Excuse me. They failed before that marriage because they failed to prepare. Looking at it, champions are known on the ring, but they are not made on the ring. Look at all these champions fighting, wrestling, doing these athletes on the field. They have prepared. They are known on the ring, but they are not made on the ring. They have taken time to prepare themselves. That's why you are seeing and hearing their success story. That's why you are watching them and seeing them succeeding, because they had prepared. Had it been they have not taken time to prepare, you can tell that they would fail on the field. So the same thing with marriage. The place of preparation cannot be under or overestimated. Prepare for marriage. Those marriages that are failing, they are not failing inside marriage. They are failing because they have failed to prepare. At this point, if you are watching me, I would like you to drop your name, where you're watching me from, and I would like to give you a shout out. So it's okay to desire marriage. There's nothing wrong in desiring marriage is sweet. Marriage is a good institution that God ordained. Marriage is sweet. So it's okay to desire marriage, but it is better to prepare for marriage. And it is the worst thing is to be married and lonely, saying, oh, I am not happy now, I don't like myself, I don't like this. You have not found inner happiness, and you're expecting to be happy in marriage. And these are the mistakes that some singles make. Find happiness now. Marriage, if you are not happy, marriage will not necessarily make you happy, because if you don't have that inner joy, if you don't have that inner happiness, it will be difficult for marriage to complete you. It will be difficult for you to be happy inside of marriage. Why should you prepare for marriage? Marriage is a covenant. It is a serious institution. God doesn't joke with marriage. And when we talk about covenants, look at the covenants that people make. Covenants most times, covenant goes with blood. You would see them cutting themselves, making an oath. That is covenant. Covenant is not something you easily break. And that is why you should prepare before you go into marriage. Marriage is a serious institution. God doesn't joke with it, because it is a covenant. And that is why you stand before God when you are making those vows and saying, I would stand by you for better, for worse. So when you marry an individual, you are marrying that individual's assets, you are marrying that individual's liability, you are marrying that individual's strength, you are marrying that individual's weakness, for better, for worse. Those vows are not just there for recitation's sake. It is a covenant. When you are marrying an individual, you are marrying the good and the bad, you are marrying the asset and the liability, you are marrying his strength and his weakness. So when you get into that marriage, and this person is the kind of person that will throw his shoe one place and will throw his bag, his tie one place, or an unorganized person, marriage being in marriage with that person means you will help that person, discuss it with that person. Oh, why did you put your shoe here? You'd have put it here. Oh, it's better being put here. You would help that person, you discuss, or you take on that responsibility to be helping that person. So that is what marriage is, and that is why you don't just rush and jump into marriage. You don't just rush and jump into marriage, because there are preparations that need to be made. Marriage is not a child's play. So if you are going to enjoy your marriage, you need to understand this aspect, as it would help you in the preparation of the institution that you are entering to. It's important that you prepare for marriage. If your single years are precious gifts given to you by God, your single years, they are precious gifts given to you by God. And if you can maximize it, you will not only live a fulfilling life, you would also live a beautifully married life. Many people are going into marriage with high expectation and low preparation. Many people are going into marriage, they are preparing for they are preparing for the unimportant things. They are not preparing for the most important. Most people are preparing for wedding, the ceremony, the wedding gown, the bridal train, the bridal shower. They are not wrong, they are not bad, but the major thing is that you prepare for marriage. The major thing is that you prepare for that long lasting, lifelong institution. Wedding is just a one-day thing. You can employ people, you can employ all these event planners to plan wedding for you. You can employ people, the people will surround you to help you the preparation for wedding. But when you talk about marriage, you are doing nobody can prepare for marriage for you. You are going into that marriage. You need to do that preparation by yourself. So preparation for marriage is very important. Let's see those important things that you should prepare for in marriage. Okay, before I go there, build capacity and happiness now. Two things that you can't escape in life is opportunity and challenges. So it's important that you prepare yourself, that that preparation would meet with opportunities, and it is then that you'll be able to overcome challenges. So prepare yourself. What are those things? I'll talk about five major things, five major preparations that you should do, and I will be taking it from the book of Proverbs chapter 31. I will look at verse 30. Verse 30 says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord shall be praised. Fears the Lord. And that's the place of spiritual preparation. Develop your spiritual life. Develop your spiritual life. I do say something. Make sure that in the journey to your marriage, find God first. Number two, find purpose. Number three, find yourself. If you are able to work on these three things, find God, find purpose, find yourself, you can tell that you are on the right line. God will be able to direct you. Your purpose will be able to help you align. It would help the other person to, your purpose has to align. So it would help the other person to also align with your dreams, with your goals, with your visions. Find yourself. Know who you are. Find happiness so that you would not be depending on another person to bring you happiness inside of marriage. So these three things are very important. Find God, develop your spiritual life. How do you then say, okay, and it is amazing. Should I use the word amazing? How people who don't even have relationship with God, all of a sudden, when it comes to the issue of marriage, that is when God speaks to them. That is when they are clear. I am sure God spoke to me. But ask them about every other issues regarding their life. God will not speak to them regarding that. It's marriage that God will speak to them. No. Develop your spiritual life. Develop your spiritual life. Also, another thing in verse 27 and verse 28 of Proverbs chapter 31, it says, she looketh well to the ways of her household, she eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. This is the place of domestic development and preparation. Domestic development and preparation. Can you cook? And I'm not even talking to the sisters only now, even brothers. Can you cook? Sisters, can God entrust you with that man that you'll be able to take care of him in marriage? Brothers and sisters, can God entrust you with those children that you'll be able to take care of them in marriage? It's important. Domestic preparation. The third one, verse 26 of Proverbs chapter 31, it says, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. That's the place of mental development. Mental development. She openeth her mouth with wisdom. In her tongue is the law of kindness. Are you mentally at alert when your husband comes and say, oh, my job, oh, I'm not getting, I'm not making sales, probably my business, this and that. Will you be able to offer emotional support, emotional encouragement? Will you be able to say, oh, why not do it this way? Will you be able to go back to the place of prayer and say, God, how do I help my husband on this issue? Or you, as a man, your wife is this emotional type, and she went through some things in her place of work, and she came back home and was like, oh, my place of work, this and that. Are you emotionally capable to be able to say, oh, how can I help you in this? Oh, sorry. And you offer emotional support. Very important. It is another thing, the book of Proverbs chapter 11 verse 22 says, a beautiful woman without good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. It's like taking something valuable, a gold ring, putting it in a pig's nose. A pig is dirty. It would take that gold that is valuable and expensive, it will take it and go and rub it in the mud because it doesn't know the value. The same thing, a woman without discretion, a woman without wisdom. Amplified version says, as a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a beautiful woman who is without discretion. So beyond your physical beauty, your beauty is a gift, but sense must be cultivated. Beyond your physical beauty, work on your mental beauty also. Work on your mental development. Your shape can attract men, but you need to be sharp. You need to be sharp. Your IQ, you need to be sharp to keep a man. You can twerk your body, but in marriage, you need to twerk your brain. Mental development. Number 4, verse 24 of that same chapter, it says, she maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles into the merchants. Money answered strictly to value, and this is the place of financial development. It says, she maketh fine linen, she selleth it, she delivereth girdles unto the merchants. This is a woman that knows that she has to give out value for her to make money. And the truth is, nobody is valueless. You have value. There is that thing that you can do that will bring money to you. There is that thing that you can do. There is no individual without value. And don't be afraid to start small. Start doing it. Start making that little thing. Start making sales. Money starts coming. God will bless. It says it will bless the work of your hand. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do it with all your might. Do it with all your might. And this is a word for someone. That thing that you are doing, do it with all your might. And God will bless the works of your hands in the name of Jesus. Amen. So financial development also very important. And the last one I'll be talking about in verse 22 of that same chapter where we're reading, she maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Physical development. Physical development. You might be sharp, you might have every other thing. Don't say, oh, at least I have every other thing. Now, physical beauty, physical, I don't have to take care of my physical self now. So far, I am spiritual, I am this, I am that. Physical development is as important as others, very important also. So it's important that you take care of yourself. The truth is, people see you before they know you. Before you open your mouth to speak to them, they see you, and they have an impression of you by merely seeing you. They have an impression of you that have registered in their brain before you open your mouth to talk. Before you, they say you are the way you are dressed, that's how you be addressed. Before you open your mouth to talk, people have an impression of you already based on what they see, based on the physical. So take care of your physical self and develop yourself physically. Don't copy any fashion style that you see. It's not every fashion style that goes with your shape that fits you. So don't copy any fashion style that you see. The best style you can wear is confidence. Even as we are talking about the physical development, part of the physical development is your confidence. The best style you can wear is your confidence. Because someone will say, "Oh, but I don't have money, I don't have much clothes," even those one or those two dresses you have, one, two, make sure you rock it well with confidence. Be neat. Make sure you are neat, you smell nice, you look good. So the best style you can wear is confidence. Also, in the premarital counseling, it would help you to be able to avoid red flags in relationship. Already, I have a video we have discussed on relationship red flags to be avoided in relationship in the previous videos. So if you look at the videos, especially in the live section, you would see that video that addresses relationship red flags. So I'll not talk about it again. Other things is the issue of compatibility. I have videos on also on this channel. Are we compatible? What are those things that should be discussed during courtship and so on and so forth. So before you enter marriage, check out what their perspective is about marriage, your spouse's perspective about marriage. Most of the things we waste our time on are not so important. Premarital counseling will help you to put your time on the important ones and not waste your time on the unimportant things. So you can have a simple wedding. You can have a simple wedding. It's not compulsory that you have the talk of the town wedding. It's not compulsory that you have 5,000 participants. What this wedding. You can have a simple wedding. You can combine church wedding with the reception. It will save you cost of having to rent reception separately. If you have the cost, fine, it's good. Nothing wrong in that. I'm just saying you should don't don't waste your time preparing for the non-essentials and leaving the essentials behind, right? So make sure that you balance it and focus more on the essentials. The wedding is one day thing and everybody will leave, eat rice, sing, dance, eat rice, and everybody will go their way. It will be left with you and your partner to continue in this journey of marriage. So preparation for marriage is very important. Where you are to discuss, when you are to talk, talk. When you are to talk, that's not the time for touching. That's not the time for all this kissing again. When we now kiss, when we now talk, what are you putting on? Have you eaten? Are you okay? Have you poo? Have you wee wee? Have you that's not when you are to talk real issues. That's not the time to be doing all this. I know you understand what I'm talking about. All right. So at this point, at this junction, I would like to stop. Premarital counseling is very important. Prepare for marriage. Go for premarital counseling and discussions. If you don't have money to register for any, you can read books that talks on premarital counseling. You can watch videos online on YouTube, on Godly Women Matters YouTube channel. You see videos there that would also help you in premarital counseling. At this point, I would like to drop my pen. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for listening. And in case you're watching this later after the live section, make sure if you have questions, just drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like, make sure you share. If you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? All right, so subscribe to this channel and turn on the post notification to be notified when my video drops. Thank you for listening and remain godly. Bye.